Good morning, students. Hope you are fit and fine by God's grace and taking care of your health and hygiene. Welcome to your first computer class in class 10. I am Rupesh Dey, your computer teacher. I will teach computer in class 10. See, in this crisis time, normal piece of everything is hindered and we cannot start our physical classes before July. And after July also what will happen, nobody knows. I know you all are seriously studying at home because your session has already been started and you are going to appear board exam after 10 or 11 months. So let's start today's class. In today's class, we will recapitulate array which you have already learned in class 9. Although it was not there in your annual portion, but still you have learned array and you have done few programs also from array. So let's start today's class.
So here in this video you will learn array, and I hope after this session you will be able to solve array problems. So let's start. What is array? It is a linear data structure which can store multiple data sequentially. It is a set of contiguous block of memory location having a single name and data type. Each of these individual memory location is called array element. So in definition we can say the array is a collection of elements of the same data type that can be referenced by a common name. It is a non-primitive data type. Means it is a composite data type. Primitive data type, we know 8 primitive data types are there: byte, short, int, long, float, double, char and boolean. So this array is not there in primitive category. That means it is non-primitive data type. So it is a composite data type. Why? Because it can compose more than one same data type in it. To understand why this array is required and what is the advantage of the array, we have to go through one example. Let's take a situation. Suppose we have to store the name of 100 students at their marks to find out highest marks, average marks and many more. So we cannot store the name of 100 students into a single variable and their marks in another variable, because we know the variable, one variable can store only one value at a time. Okay. In that case, what to do? We have to declare 100 string variable to store 100 students' name and 100 numeric variable for their marks. Numeric variable means it can be integer or double. So it is very difficult to deal with so many variables in a single program where we have to find the meaningful name for all the variables and to remember them also. And in memory area will be allocated randomly for all these 200 variables. So program will become little slow to find and access this memory area, means variable, during its execution. So instead of that, we can make a single array which can store the name of 100 students and one integer array to store their names. So in that case, no need to remember the name of bunch of variables to manipulate them. Single name means the array name is used to refer all the elements of the array. As all elements of an array are stored in consecutive memory area, program will take comparatively less time to get executed. Each element of the array can be referred by array name with a subscript or index number enclosed in a square bracket representing the position of the array element in the array. The array subscript, like string, always starts with 0. So like other variable, an array must be explicitly defined so that the compiler can allocate memory for the array. Now we will learn how to declare and create array. This pen works. Yes. So array declaration statement is data type space array name. Array. But this is the syntax to declare variable. But we are talking about array. So how to make this variable as array? Only by giving a square bracket either after the array name or after the data types. Either here or here. Not in both places. Now if I follow this syntax, and semicolon to always you have to give as a sentence terminator because this is one Java expression or statement. So if I follow this to make one integer array, like the array we were talking about to store the marks of 100 students. So what to do? Int, data type is int, m for marks, any name you can give, in square bracket, nothing to be there. This is the declaration statement. Or you can use this square bracket here also. After this we have to create array. This will create what? One reference variable called m to store the reference of an array which is not created yet. Now we will learn how to create array. So as array is a non-primitive data type, so to create non-primitive data type always you have to use new keyword, because non-primitive data type will be created dynamically. So new data type is int. We have to follow this data type. This data type is called base data type. So base data type means is a type of all elements of the array. And then here size. So size is what? Size is the number of elements which an array can hold. So here at the place of size we have to put one numeric value like 5. We were talking about 100 students, but here I am taking 5, otherwise I cannot draw an array with 100 elements. 5 semicolon. But this is not a complete statement. This new keyword creates one integer array with 5 elements and it will return the address of that element. Address of that array, which you have to store here in this reference variable. So m equal to this. This is array creation statement. Now these two statements can be combined. How? Int, give some space here before this equal to yes. Okay, don't put anything here in this square bracket, but here we have to give a number that will be the number of element for the array. So this will create one array in the memory with 5 integer blocks, means 5 elements. So each of this integer block can store integer value. An integer block means we know integer data type size is 4 bytes. So this is one 4 bytes memory, and this one is another 4 bytes memory, and this is another 4 bytes memory. So this way easily we can calculate the storage capacity of this array. So total number of element 5 and the size of base data type or one element's size is 4 bytes because it is integer data type. So 4 into 5 means 20 bytes. And what I told about the array index, array elements index, it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So obviously last element's index will be the total number of element minus 1. So 5 minus 1 for 4, as the index numbers or subscript number starts from 0. Now any element we can access. How? By the array name followed by the index number in square bracket. Array name was m, index number is 3 in square bracket 3, m3. That means this element. Now here you can store value like 7. So 7 will go and store here, which can be updated afterwards. Or you can access this array elements to use in any expression. Like to print the value of this element, you write m3 in println, or in any calculation. Now to access all elements sequentially from first element till last element, we need all index number starting from 0 to last index number. So instead of writing the array name with different index number, we can get them from a loop. Index number loop, always we will start from 0, as we are going to take out the value from first element till last element. Then last element means the total number of element minus 1, that is last index. So total number of element we know at the time of declaration only we have given the value. So if it is 5, less than 5 means 4. So 0 to 4. And here the value or index will be increased by 1. Now here if I write use I, for each of the execution of this loop, I will get different value starting from 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4 up to that. So it will give all. Now if I write this statement in print, and it will print the array, all array elements sequentially from first till last. And if I write here equal to something, that value are going to be stored in the elements like I plus 1. So in first element in 0 we are getting what? 0 plus 1 means 1. Then in second element in 1 we are getting 1 plus 1 2. So the array will be filled up with all natural numbers starting from 1 to 5. Okay, so this way array gets populated. Another way also we can create array, but in that type of creation we can assign value at the time of this declaration. Let's take integer array a square bracket. Now here, instead of writing new keyword with the number of elements, we will pass some values: 5, 0, -3, 2, 7, 10, 1. So how many values we have passed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So to accommodate these 7 values in this integer array, the array will be created with 7 elements. 7 elements. Okay. But remember, this type of initialization is only possible at the time of declaration, not in separate line. Like in one line you have created the declared the array int array name square bracket, then next line array name equal to, in second bracket all these values separated by comma is not possible. Only at the time of declaration this initialization is possible. So easily we can manipulate array if we know the number of elements. If we don't know the number of elements of an array, then what we will do? Like one function, it receives one array. This is what? Formal parameter. Formal parameter is always a declaration statement. So this is one array. Only I have declared. I have not created the array yet. Who will create the array? The caller method, from where this function will be called. So that time we have to pass, or the programmer or that function will pass a number of values in second bracket for this array. Now how many value this function will receive for this array we don't know in advance. So how we will manipulate this array in this function? So in that case we have length attribute. Length attribute, not like length function of string class. This is length attribute of array, a dot length. So don't give parenthesis here. So a dot length will give the number of elements. Now this we can store in a variable, then that variable we can use as a length of the array, or directly in a loop also we can use. Like this is the program, this is the function to display the array element in reverse order. So int I equal to a dot length -1, because a dot length for number of elements, -1 for last index number. From last index number we will come till first index number, so greater than equal to 0, and here minus. Now write here a I was over. Now put it in println. So this is going to display the array element in reverse order. Clear? Now one array element can be used anywhere in the program, just like ordinary variable. So if a variable is a and its value is 10, when to change the value of this a variable, what we write? A equal to 12, or we can update this value by doing some calculation. A plus plus or a plus equal to 3, or a equal to a plus a minus 7. So here also we can do the same. Only instead of a, what we will write? A index number, suppose 2. A 2. A 2. So A2 means which element? 0, 1, 2. This is 2. Index number 2. So 9. So here we are storing 10 in this one. Then we are updating the value by replacing 10 by 12. Then A2 plus plus. A2 plus plus means its value will be increased by 1. That means it becomes 13 now. A2 plus equal to 3. So 13 plus 3, 16. Then A2 equal to A2 minus 7. So 16 minus 7 means 9. Okay. So I think you understood what is array and how to use array in a program and where to use, in which type of program we will use array and how to manipulate that. Oh, sorry, another thing I forgot to tell, array can be of two types, single dimensional and double dimensional. So we are learning single dimension array, which can be represented as a single row of value or single column of value. After a few days we will learn double dimension array also.
So today up to this much. With this video you will get some problems to be solved in the form of worksheet. So download the worksheet and solve the problems. In our next class we will discuss the problems and I will provide the solution of the problem. But don't wait for the ready-made solution which I will provide next day. You do the program in your home. So stay home, stay safe, study well. See you in our next class. Till then, bye. Have a nice day.